Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay, so now that I got that energy download from the morning, kind of sifted through, um, little read on the energies over the holidays is what's coming in now. So, just looking through. I did a video a couple days ago on why I kind of stay away from tarot because it's uplifting a narrative that's kind of archaic and a little bit on the patriarchal side. So trying, because they're not going to resonate soon here. And as I said that, cards flew out, and I'm using this deck though. Okay, hang on. Hang on, it's coming. So it's not that I think tarot's bad, or I love tarot. That's why I started the whole freaking channel with tarot. But the energy that's attached to some of the cards needs to be taken into account. So just be mindful of that. Just I'm not telling you to stop watching tarot. No. Because a lot of times it kind of can give you a little bit more of an energy read better than you can, because when you're in the situation itself, it gets chaotic and you're like, I just need somebody from the outside to give me a little bit of something to touch. And that's totally reasonable. And that I love tarot for, is because even though I have these senses, sometimes when you're in the moment, in the situation, you're like, okay, I just need a little bit of clarity here, and this Neptune and Pisces things, okay? It's a doozy for some of us, okay? So that, I'm not poo-pooing. I'm using very cautious ways of moving forward with it. I want to be very conscious of the energies. I want to make sure that when I am doing this, I'm not anchoring in that patriarchal narrative that's going to soon slip away. Because if we base our lives on that anchor of the patriarchal narrative, things can go wrong. So I'm just really being made aware of that in a very specific manner through the energies coming in and my guides and whatnot, explaining to me how the energy is conducting itself, what's anchoring, what's loosening, all that good stuff. And it's a lot right now. It's a lot, especially collectively with all those outer planets making movements into different signs. So just being cautious and mindful of what needs to be released and let go, and what needs to be anchored in, and how we move forward in a much different way than we've probably ever known before. And that I want to assist with, but I do not want to prevent people from releasing what needs to be released. I hope that makes sense. That's just what Spirit's telling me to like move through right now. So, that being said, the read is the ocean upside down. There's your Neptune and in Pisces right now. And then you've got the shadow, the one, and the destroyer kind of off. So the shadow is upside down, the ocean's upside down, and the one is also upside down, and the destroyer's on its side. Okay, and then you've got the nectar in reverse, the castle on its side, and Animundi, which doesn't have a reversal or a, so there's no, but this is how it shows up. Okay, so the tippy top of the star is pointing upwards. Okay, and there's Jupiter is at the top, and it's calling my attention. So Jupiter is in Cancer. I believe it's still retrograde. So something about motherhood, home, family, obviously this is holidays, but it needs, because Jupiter's in retrograde right now, something needs to be reassessed on how we're functioning in that energetic space, in that energetic modality, And again, you don't have to have children. Sometimes your baby is your business. Sometimes you have fur babies. Sometimes, the people that you work with, you're creating that nurturing environment. I'm not saying this has everything to do with motherhood, but motherhood is 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 not what we've been trained to think of it as. Motherhood is so much more than producing children and nurturing children. Motherhood has to do with the energetic pattern that you embody that nurtures everything around you, child or not. And I think I've said this before on my channel, that we tend to want to push other people away from ourselves and think, oh, that's their kid, that's their family, that's their whatever. We are all interconnected on this web, and we can perform that energy function however it shows up for us. So the idea that somehow we're separate from one another leaves the building when we're dealing with Jupiter, especially when it's in Cancer. Okay, so they're technically all our children. They're all our family. Everybody is our family, and it's just how we interact with them that comes through. Okay, is that it? Okay. So deep shadow work here. Deep shadow work and how we're showing up in the world. There's your castle on the side. Okay, so how are we with that? It feels like a foundation. What's the foundation telling us? What are we protecting? See how delicate that rose is, that love? What is our protection? I just did a video on protection versus control. So what are we protecting? What are we building a fortress around? How are we holding it sacred? Are we going to open that eye, or are we going to leave it closed? Right? And maybe she's enjoying how the rose smells. She, he, they. So, the destroyer on its side. Well, lots of things are being destroyed right now. And the nectar is upside down. So the nectar feels like, the nectar, the thing that sustains how we kind of gain our function, if you will, in society. How do we gain our energy? How do we move forward with it? How do we use the energy we're given to alchemize with something that comes forward with generosity and an open heart, is what I'm getting with all these roses here. An open heart. And how we enjoy the rose, how we conduct ourselves when we're in the presence or in embodying the energy of love, compassion, nurturing, home, hearth, family. And the foundation of it, because it's home. Jupiter in Cancer is the home base. How do we rejuvenate ourselves? What do we do with the energy that we're given to go forward in life? And are we making sure that it's nurturing? So we've got the destroyer here on its side. And above all this is the one in the reverse, the ocean in reverse, and the shadow in reverse. What it feels like is there's like this, it's not even a glass ceiling, it's not even an umbrella. There's something looming. There's something looming over us that we can't quite see yet. It's a shadow. So it's not a structure. It's a playing of the light, of how we come into oneness into the world, how we embrace that oneness, how we come into familiar foundations of moving forward. Again, these two are on the bottom. Okay, so addressing that subconscious undercurrent, right? So this isn't showing up in a bad way. This is showing up. It's like, it's winter time. Obviously, we're going through, at least in the northern hemisphere, we're going through a shadow period right now. So how are we interconnecting with the one? And it feels like we might, you know, be in a state of isolation right now, which would definitely be the case. Again, like the isolation that's coming through at the top here with that in the middle, and then this without the cords connected, and then this, there's two separate. How are they meeting? How are we? Maybe this is like a cleansing, like you're destroying something that you thought, or something is being destroyed. Maybe you're not doing it. Okay, so this says to me, see how these two right here are kind of intertwined with each other, and now they're separate up here. So how we connect to each other, how we bring our own nectar to the world and then multiply it. So it's getting like, even in the body, how are our cells multiplying? Are we consciously creating a healthy system within us to multiply those cells? Because that's happening all the time in our body. Every 7 years, I believe it is, we become completely different people. So how are we programming? How are we in our subconscious? How are we telling ourselves to become more nurturing, to become more loving, to become more open with these roses here, to change, to adaptability, to nurturing and forming a foundation that's conducive to not just our own families, but the whole. Because Earth is our home too, right? And that some people believe we came from the ocean. My jury's still out on that. It's a little confusing for me. I haven't. So, for those of you who do believe that, that is coming through. I'm not saying I don't believe that. It very much resonates. It's just, we are in cloudy times. But being at, you know, the ocean side in a couple different spaces on the globe, it seems resonant. Okay, I'm going to pull some. So this is the Cosma Visions Oracle. Pull that quick. Get some clarifiers for the Christmas season. It's nice and green. It's pretty. I love it. Beautiful. I'm going to show you this. There you go. Take a screenshot. James R. Eads is the author of this deck. He also authored the Prisma Visions Tarot as well. So, one of my favorite tarot deck creators. And the cards are beautiful. Just so you know, cards are gorgeous. I don't know if you can see. If I can get but the sides are like rainbow on this deck, and then on the other one they're silver. So what do we need to know about all these reversals up front with the ocean? Ooh. Alrighty. So those three, this one, okay. Ooh, those four, and the rest are no. Okay. So those go over there, these go, okay. So, got the 9 of Trees. The trees are pentacles in this deck. The 9 of Trees with the shadow card. The 2 of Embers in reverse. So that's the 2 of Wands. Sorry, I don't know how to get that off there. I tried like completely. It just looks weird either way you do it. And then the 6 of Trees. And again, trees are pentacles. So equal give and take. Okay, so that goes over the 1. The 2 of embers goes over the ocean. The 2 of wands. Choices. We're at a choice. Well, that's astrology too. Choice point. Okay. Just need to feel into which pile next. Okay. So the 8 of lotuses. Lotuses are cups in this deck. Over the destroyer, not walking away. Maybe there's some sort of commitment in the nectar and the destroyer. So there's a natural function that's happening here. Oftentimes, like when we, have a compost pile or whatever, it's all that food that just needs to get composted all the way in order for it to feed something that we want to grow. And then we've got, ooh, this is nice. Life on Earth. Okay, so that feels kind of like the cosmos coming in for a big Christmas hug. Venus is going into Capricorn tomorrow. So that energy is going to be heavy. So embrace that. Bring that forward. It's grounding in and anchoring in that love, that commitment, that devotion to whatever it is for you that's going to produce some nectar. I think it's just you reassessing what actually sustains life versus what's distracting you from it. And then you've got the 5 of trees in reverse. Okay. So, So maybe prior to this, you might have been feeling like you didn't have a home, or you don't have a space, or you don't have a support system, you don't have any resources to lean on. And the energy swooping in tomorrow is completely contrast to that. You thought people were walking away, you thought situations were walking away, but the universe here is giving you a giant hug. It's like, so her body here it's got like oceans and continents on it. Okay, so there's a white light, and I think I talked about this a little bit earlier in the week or last week, where we give everybody a white light of protection, especially the vulnerable people right now, the people that don't have the homes, that don't have enough food, or they might be struggling right now to keep their homes, or find a new way in life, all that stuff. So that white light of love and generosity and protection is coming in for you. And I have a feeling here that you did not sense this was coming at all. So this might surprise you. Just breathe into it and be open to it. It feels really heavy, like there's some hesitation here. It feels like you did not sense this in your environment. You didn't see this coming, and you're kind of, there's like a shadow cast over it. So you could not see, like around the shadow, around the corner, whatever it is, that all this energy is definitely right there for you. But I feel like the world might have told you otherwise. So be willing to accept that tomorrow. It's going to come in as, this feels like a shock to the system. Feels like a shock to the system that you didn't know that you had this much love, support, energetic abundance at your side, within you, outside of you. So be aware of that. Lean into it. Okay, give it a gracious hug back. Hold it tight, heart to heart. So you want, when you give hugs, like, side note, when you give hugs, so your heart is right here, and then the other person's heart is going to be on the opposite side. So you want to go in for the hug. Now, this is for people you feel safe exchanging heart energy with. You go in with the hug, but you lift the left hand up because you want to put the heart to their heart, and then have them lift their left and go in for the hug this way. Okay? Now, if you do not want to exchange that heart-to-heart energy with someone, lift the right and go in the opposite side. Okay? Little energetic protection. Love you. Okay, so then there's the veil, which is thin AF right now. Okay, so that might be something. that once you get this lovely little hug, heart coherence, and again, this is how they are embracing on this card. This is how they're embracing on this card. Okay, they're heart to heart on this. I know it's backwards, but it's a heart to heart hug. Okay, so the veil here is the shadows kind of dissipating. And you've got the Nine of Lotuses. You might, like I said, and those cards were okay, and that's in the reverse. So you might experience something like an overload. You might be coming into a situation where you're receiving things not only from the physical, because you've got the Nine of Trees up here and the Six of Trees up here, but you're receiving some emotional abundance that might throw you. That's why I was like, wait, what am I seeing here? What is this? Because this Two of Embers is at the very top of the read. Okay, you see this dark hole right here? I think you're in a space of deep, it's not an unknowing, it's a deep space of like, not necessarily blindness. It's a space you haven't experienced before. So it's not even something that's maybe you knew was already inside of you. It's a space of like, I don't move through these spaces. I didn't know the space existed. I don't know how to handle this. And that Nine of Lotuses, see how that energy is flowing in? Okay. Repeat after me. Ready? Here we grow. I receive with grace and gratitude. I receive with grace and gratitude. I am worthy to receive. I am honored to receive. I am open to receive. There's your nectar. That's why your nectar is in the upside down. I receive with my whole heart with grace and gratitude. My whole heart is open with grace and gratitude to receive what feels kind of maybe a little bit foreign. Let me just breathe into it for a moment. See. And that's the thing, is you didn't even ask. There's no asking here. There was no expectation. There was no nothing. You're just receiving it, and you are in complete, it's not really shock, but it's a system shock. It feels like and it's a holding of the breath is what I'm getting. Okay. It's I didn't know this was here for me. I didn't know I had access to it. Maybe you had some sort of, insight. Oh, I know that exists, but it's never come my way before, so why would it come my way now? That type of energy. Or why would it want to embrace me now? So this is a lovely, and you can screenshot this. Get out of the way. This is Mount Shasta Opal, and that is one of the most loving, miraculous places I think I've ever visited. Just the sheer compassion that you get while you're just standing there, even if it's at the gas station. You're just standing there. And the people that are there even encompass this beautiful, wonderful, generous energy. And they're so, like, for example, at the gas station, I was traveling with a lady who's, up there in age. And she was chatting with the gas station attendant, being sweet, a beautiful, wonderful, beautiful soul. Old soul. Ancient soul. And, she was chit-chatting and she's paying with cash because she's old school. I freaking love her. And so she was doing her thing, and I looked back, and there's a gentleman holding the door. And there was you know, still this conversation going on. So I smiled at him politely, thinking, oh, he's probably holding the door for somebody outside coming around the building. And then I look back again, and he's still holding the door, and he looks at me again, and I was like, this is a sacred soul, and we're not going to rush her because she's doing good work, okay? So I let her finish her conversation, put her cash away, and whatever else, and we get to the door, and this man probably stood there for a good, well over 60 seconds, holding that door for us. Okay, that kind of energy is probably coming your way tomorrow, and that was just a drop of the energy that's coming your way tomorrow. So just be aware of how that can show up for you. Okay, just be open to it. Okay, don't think I don't see any strings attached here yet. 2 of lotuses at the bottom, the commander in the reverse, and the infinite path. Yeah, you're not going to have much of a choice here. And again, the 2 of Cups is not indicative of, you know, romantical situation. It's just 2 energetic patterns holding each other sacred, holding each other's cups and clinking in celebration. Okay? It doesn't have to be romantical. It can be you coming into yourself and saying, oh my gosh, I had this and I did not realize that I had this, and this sacred soul just came and like tapped on me. Not that there's no sacred souls, but there's an energy here that feels very well connected to something that feeds you on a different level than you've ever known before. It's just different. It's no cause to panic. I don't feel like there's any stipulations, and I'm going to clarify that quick. It does not feel, I don't feel any, hey, since I was so blah 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 for you on this occasion, I'm going to expect this blah 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 in return. I do not feel that at all whatsoever. This is no strings attached. I love you with everything. Okay. I'm looking for... oh, okay. Let's see. This lovely little deck is called I Radiate Joy, and it was left for me by one of the most sacred beings I've ever had the honor of knowing. So, we're going to draw. Okay. This one. Alright. Wow, you guys, this feels really good. This feels super good. So, wherever you go in the next couple days, I'm feeling like the next 6 days, 6 of trees, equal give and take. And again, you've already got whatever this is on the inside of you to give, to reciprocate this energy. You just didn't know it was there, and that person's just going to tap it, and you'll be like, okay. So I'm going to read this one first. Whew! Okay. There we go. Ooh, everywhere I look, I am surrounded by love. That's what's coming in. That's the modality that you're going to experience tomorrow. And I'm going to flip that card around. It's stuck to this one. Emotions. I'm in tune with my feelings. Ooh. I don't know. Is that on the card? Okay, the rainbow is on the card. I'm like, is that coming through my lighting? How the heck is that happening? Okay. So there's that one. And then you've got life supports me in every way. Okay, so there's this side. So you can kind of get that geometric pattern going for yourself. And I have all the answers within me. Boom. Yep. And then there's a couple that came out, so I'm going to read them all. I am open and receptive to new ideas. There it is. We need to screenshot that little sigil, plant it on yourself. Like I did a video a couple days ago to help you get through some of this maybe sticky energy that you might have to deal with in the next couple days. So I am focused and present. You can go back and visit that video if you feel so called about putting sigils on the body in different modalities to make the holidays a little bit more smooth and loving. I choose serenity and peace. Okay, and on the back of the card it says, I am focused and present. And that's a mental card. So this is a mental card too. So it says I'm focused and present, but I am grounded in the present moment. So yeah, take a couple deep breaths and just be with yourself. And that's backwards. I apologize. I honor and value my sexuality. Ooh, there's the Two of Cups. All right. And that could be like, you could just meet somebody who is not necessarily your sexual partner, but it could tap on that. When we open ourselves, we open our heart to any loving modality, oftentimes that energy seeps all the way into our system, and that pings on that sexual notion, and there's nothing bad about it. There's nothing you need to go do about it. It's just an acknowledgement of I'm a whole person and I deserve and I'm worthy of being loved whole. Not just for bits and pieces, but this is the entirety of it, right? And my sexuality is also sacred. My sexuality is a deep part of who I am. And it doesn't need to be looked at how society wants us to look at it, right? Okay. I love and appreciate all my body does for me. Okay, and that's the physical. So I'm going to flip that around so you can see that geometrical pattern there. Okay, kind of looks like Metatron. All right, dear, beautiful, sacred soul, thank you for coming and visiting, and I will see you tomorrow, unless Spirit taps me on the shoulder for something else real quick, and I'm getting a little nudge for it, so we'll see what comes through, okay? I love you. Until next time, keep your flame.